All right, welcome to The Explainer. I want to start with a question. What if everything you've been told about God, about truth, about enlightenment is just plain wrong? Today, we're diving into the pretty radical ideas of a 15th century mystic named Kabir, all through the lens of the philosopher Osho. So buckle up, because this is a journey that's going to challenge the very foundations of what you think you know.
So let's kick things off with this line from Kabir. And look, this isn't just pretty poetry, right? This is a direct shot, a challenge to the symbols of organized religion. He's not guessing here. He's not philosophizing. He's basically reporting back from the field. He's saying, hey, I've been there, I've done that, and I'm telling you, it's just water. This is our starting point. We're moving beyond just believing things and stepping into the world of direct personal experience.
Okay, so Kabir's eyewitness report, it doesn't just stop with holy water. Nope. He takes aim at all the sacred objects of faith, and he dismantles them, not from the outside looking in, but from the inside out.
And again, just notice his method here. He doesn't come at this with some complex philosophical argument about why idols are illogical. He just states a simple, personal fact. They're silent. And how does he know? Because he's cried out to them himself, waiting for a reply that, well, it never came. For Kabir, the temple is empty because he literally went and checked, and nobody was home.
From there, he turns that same critical eye to the scriptures, the holy books themselves. He says, look, even the most revered texts are, at the end of the day, just a bunch of words. They only come alive when you validate them with your own experience. Without that personal confirmation, they're just ink on a page. He dared to look with doubt, and that, right there, made all the difference.
So, what's the big takeaway from Kabir so far? It's really simple, but profound. Truth isn't some idea you inherit from your parents or a passage you memorize from a book. It's an experience. If it hasn't passed through the fire of your own being, if you haven't actually lived it, then for you, it's just not real. Period.
Okay, so if we can't blindly trust external authorities like religion, what about our own minds? I mean, surely we can trust our own logic, right? Well, this is where Osho really steps in and takes Kabir's ideas a step further. He explains how our most trusted tool, logic, can actually become its own kind of prison.
Osho frames this as this fundamental conflict. The mind, you see, is all about the past. It's just a big collection of memories and experiences, so naturally it clings to what's known, what's safe. But life is all about moving forward, leaping into the unknown. It's an adventure. So we're caught in this constant tug of war between the mind's desperate need for security and life's constant demand for a leap of faith.
And this is the crucial point, really. Logic can only work with what it already knows. It can analyze, it can rearrange, it can clarify the old stuff. But what it can never do is reach something totally new. For that, Osho says you need a different faculty altogether, a kind of quantum leap of intuition, of raw experience. He calls this poetry. It's the difference between dissecting a flower to analyze it and just experiencing the flower.
So, okay, if the path isn't through the temple and it's not through the mind, where in the world does that leave us? Well, Osho, interpreting Kabir, points to a third way, the path of the heart, a spirituality that's all about feeling and just being.
And this is where things get really interesting, with this profound shift in language. See, traditional religions gave us God, a noun, a person, some figure up in the sky, an idea really born out of our fear of the unknown. But this new path offers godliness. It's not a noun, it's a quality, an adjective. It's not someone you pray to, it's a presence you can feel within everything. And it's a presence born not out of fear, but out of love.
So, what does this path of the heart actually look like? Well, it's a religion of celebration, not stuffy ceremony. Its prayers aren't words, they're songs. Its rituals are dances. Its temple isn't a building, it's the whole of existence itself. You see, this isn't another set of rules to follow. It's more like an open door, an invitation to a whole new way of being.
And all of this leads us to what might just be the most powerful, mind-bending idea in this entire explainer, the critical difference between evolution and revolution.
Now, Osho draws a really sharp line in the sand here. He says evolution is a horizontal movement. It's mechanical, it's predictable. Think about it. A monkey becomes a man. He gets smarter, more capable, but he's still on the same basic plane of existence. Revolution, on the other hand, is vertical. It's a conscious leap up into an entirely new dimension of being. This isn't a monkey becoming a man. This is a man becoming a Buddha. It's not predictable, it's a miracle.
And here is the absolute key. Evolution, that kind of happens on its own. It's a slow, mechanical process. But this spiritual revolution, it's not guaranteed. It is not going to happen to you automatically while you're sitting on the couch. It depends entirely on your conscious choice, your passionate intention to make that leap. It requires you to participate.
So, okay, this all sounds great. A revolutionary leap. But what does that actually look like in our day-to-day lives? Well, it all comes down to a really fundamental shift in our personal goals, moving away from the pursuit of perfection and toward the embrace of wholeness.
According to Osho, this endless quest we're on to be perfect, the perfect parent, the perfect employee, the perfect friend, that is the root cause of our anxiety. It creates this constant, super stressful gap between who we actually are and who we think we should be. And trying to live in that gap, Osho says, is basically a kind of hell.
So what's the alternative? It's the path of wholeness. Instead of judging and rejecting all the parts of yourself you don't like, you embrace everything. I mean everything. Your anger and your compassion, your love and your hate, your light and your shadow. See, perfection is a destination you'll never ever reach. Wholeness, on the other hand, is a place you can live right now, just by accepting yourself exactly as you are.
In fact, Osho even suggests that if we actually succeeded in getting rid of all our so-called negative qualities, life would become totally flat and boring. He says it's the tension between these opposites inside us, the pull between love and hate, between the need for togetherness and the need for solitude, that creates the dynamism, the richness, the very music of life.
And so that leaves us with this final, revolutionary question to chew on. What if all our striving, all our efforts at self-improvement are completely missing the point? What if the true spiritual path isn't about becoming a better person, but a more whole one? Maybe the real revolution doesn't happen out there in the temples or the holy books, but right here, in the radical, loving acceptance of everything we already are.